Oh, hello. In today's video, we're going to be asking the question, could we finally be getting an Inquisitorial Warband for Kill Team? This is something that people have been asking for since about halfway through the run of Kill Team 2018. It's something that people have sort of said and rumoured, oh, it's already been made, it's just not been released because Rogue Trader did badly, this, that and the other. Could it finally be coming? Let's have a think. So the reason that makes me think this, you may have seen this particular piece put together by other different people online as well, but the last two rumour engines from Games Workshop have shown what is pretty clearly a Catachan dueling glaive. Like, if nothing else, I'm certain that it's a Catachan dueling glaive. So what we've got here, I'll just get my laser pointer, so the top end here, okay, this very particular serrated edge and then the kind of halberd spike really matches up with this original artwork here, the serrated edge and the spike and the little tassel, okay? And you can see the same thing realised on Sergeant Stone from the Inquisitor 54mm game there. There's the serrated edge, there's the little spike going out behind it, and there's the red tassel coming out the front. And then on the other end we've got this kind of Macy, Morningstar-y type bit, okay? And that seemed to be in the previous rumour engine. And there you can see it on the base of the staff there. So it's clearly a Catachan dueling engine, dueling glaive, sorry, dueling engine, which we've previously seen in Inquisitor. So this is from Games Workshop's Inquisitor game, which was at 54mm. If you've not seen these models before, they're massive. Used to have some, sold them off years and years ago. But let's have a little look at Sergeant Stone then. So Sergeant Stone, as I said, was from the Inquisitor game. Pulled out my old copy of the Inquisitor rulebook to find his kind of background. Sergeant Stone, Gland War veteran. When the Forge world of Dantis III was invaded by Tyranids, Imperial Guard regiments from the nearby world of Lostock were drafted in to combat the menace. The surface of Dantis III was heavily polluted, and the infestation of deadly Tyranid organisms made fighting outside the factory complexes impossible. A few companies of the Lostock 23rd were modified by the tech priests to fight in this hellish war zone, incorporating many organs and drug-secreting glands that enabled them to survive unprotected, as well as boosting their combat abilities and aggressiveness. Only 3 Gland Warriors are believed to have survived the conflict, and Sergeant Stone was one of them. After the successful defence of Dantis III, Sergeant Stone was amongst those taken by the Inquisition for debriefing and study, later ending up in the retinue of Inquisitor Tyrus. Now, a couple of things there. So first of all, according to the original fluff, now Games Workshop does sometimes change their fluff, there are only supposed to be 3 Gland Warriors in the entire galaxy, because they were created for this one conflict, this one Gland War, and 3 of them survived fighting the Tyranids. And all of them are said to be in the ranks of the Inquisition, which is what made me think the speculation at the start of the video that they could be bringing back an Inquisitorial Warband with either with Sergeant Stone or with one of the other 2 Gland Warriors in the service of an Inquisitor. Okay, so if it is Sergeant Stone, that means that we might be getting Inquisitor Tyrus's Warband. So again, canonically from the Inquisitor rulebook from back in the day, Inquisitor Tyrus's Warband was this redemptionist fella, devotee Millicent. Okay, we got Sergeant Stone, we've got Inquisitor Tyrus himself, and we've got the Enforcer Barbaretta and her robot dog. And that, for Inquisitor, that thing of 4 or 5 models was about right for that game, right? Now, that obviously doesn't make a kill team. I can't see them doing a kill team of 4 or 5 miniatures. I mean, possibly, if they do Inquisitor Tyrus, because he's in quite Baroque, sort of, I don't know whether it's supposed to be quite Baroque power armour with his lightning claw and everything else. Like, they'd have to make each of them individually extremely powerful for them to work as a kill team. I can't quite see it. Maybe they'll pad them out with something else. We'll talk about that some more in a minute or two. But it is a thought, that they could bring back those classic models. They could bring back other classic models from the Inquisitor book. You know, Eisenhorn famously first appeared. There already is an Eisenhorn model, but they could do that. They could use it as an opportunity to bring out some of the stuff for the Sisters of Battle in 40k that's lacking. I'm thinking of the Crusaders and the Death Cult Assassins, because as well, Death Cult Assassins were first featured in Inquisitor. So they could do that. However, it's worth saying at this point that I could be dead wrong. Okay? All we've really deciphered, all I've really told you in this video that I think is certain, is that the last Kill Team box, the last Rumour Engines, jumping ahead to the next slide, the last Rumour Engine, the last two of them shows a Catachan dueling glaive. We don't know that that's in the hands of a Gland Warrior, just because that's where we've last seen them used, and we know there are these 3 Gland Warriors and they're in the service of the Inquisition. It could be that the other Catachans from Catachan, maybe they field whole squads of guys with these dueling glaives. Maybe this is just going to be a new Imperial Guard unit for 40k, and I'm completely jumping the gun by assuming it's for Kill Team. Like, it's for one of those 2 games, right? It's a 40k or Kill Team. We know the Imperial Guard Codex is coming soon. We've seen other stuff from the Rumour Engine that's closely linked to the Imperial Guard. Attilan Rough Riders, Spears, and spring to mind, so we know there's more coming for the Guard that we haven't seen yet. But from all the stuff we have seen, the release seems very Cadia focused for 40k for the Guard. So it might be a little incongruous to see a random Catachan squad, but it could just be that. It could be nothing to do with Kill Team whatsoever. I could be jumping the gun. I just want to make sure that's there, that people don't get too overexcited. But if we assume, because it's fun, that it is going to be a Kill Team thing, we have to have a think about the future Kill Team boxes. So I have it from a solid source, the following 2 things, which I am prepared to treat almost as fact. So all the Kill Team boxes in this cycle will have 1 Kill Team that's usable in 40k, and 1 team which is, I'm bringing back a meme from the community which we're going to call artisanal, because we can't call them bespoke, because bespoke already means something in Kill Team discourse, but I'm talking about this idea that we have models like the Imperial Navy Breachers that are just for Kill Team. They don't have any double duty in 40k. They've just been invented for Kill Team. So in all Kill Team boxes for this year, for this cycle, we're going to get an artisanal team and then a team that can do double duty in 40k. I have from this same really solid source the idea that Beastmen are coming in the next box, and I've included a picture here of the Blackstone Fortress Beastmen because I feel really strongly, given that what we saw with the Bloodied, that we're going to see not these models per se, but we're going to see models that work with these in a design kind of view. We're going to see Beastmen like this, I think. Now, I'd assumed when I was told that, those 2 things, that obviously Beastmen are going to be the artisanal team in that box, because there's no one in 40k that can use Beastmen, and it's going to be Beastmen versus the Kazakin. We know the Kazakin are coming because they have the bases here that we've now seen on the Kroot and the Breachers into the Dark Box that's coming out shortly. Right? However, I have heard rumours from multiple sources, not from this same solid source, just from multiple other people, this idea that Beastmen are going to be the Poxwalkers or the Zangors of the World Eaters book. So far, whenever they've spun off a Chaos Legion, that Chaos Legion has got some kind of version of cultists that's been more infused with the kind of chaos magic of their god. And I hear that Beastmen are going to be the World Eaters specialist cult unit. So maybe they can be the 40k appropriate team for that box, and the Inquisition would be the more artisanal team in the box, and then we push Kazakin to a future box. Or perhaps Kazakin are bundled in with the Inquisition, because to get around that problem of there only being 4 or 5 models and we pad it out, it's very difficult to understand. Now, we know we're going to get 3 more boxes, right? So Into the Dark, we know what's in that. That's all been revealed. We don't know when it's coming out, but we know what teams we're getting in that. We're getting 3 more boxes. So that's 6 more plastic teams this year for Kill Team. If we know one is Beastman and we know one is Kazakin, not that they're necessarily coming together, that means we're only really playing with 4 unknown teams. You know, and if one is Inquisition, and if we assume that one is going to be the Leagues of Votan, which a lot of people are assuming, it's bizarre that we kind of can guess so much of the release schedule. Release schedules, the Games Workshop release schedule seems to be really, for 40k at the moment, it seems to be really impacted by leaks. A lot of people are assuming that Kazakin have got to come out before the Beastmen because the Imperial Guard stuff was leaked before the World Eater stuff. But that things don't necessarily leak in quite chronological order. We could see World Eaters before Imperial Guard, because Games Workshop wanted us to think the World Eaters were really far away. They showed us some renders, and then when all that Angron stuff leaked, like, I just don't know. This isn't a 40k channel, but you've got to, if you want to speculate about the Kill Team release schedule, you've got to have a vague understanding of the 40k release schedule, because the stuff tends to tie together. But I feel like the release date of the World Eaters box is already in a very weird place, because they released the Chaos Codex recently, which references the World Eaters Codex, which isn't out yet, and then they had to push out World Eaters in White Dwarf. There's obviously some strangeness going on, so I could see either the Beastman or the Kazakin coming out at a completely different time for their codex, right? And it's seeming like they don't have any place in 40k for a while, and then eventually the World Eaters Codex comes out and people go, oh, I see what's going on here. So, I feel like, as I said, I feel confident to say Beastmen are coming in the next box. I feel confident to say something in the next box will be usable in 40k and something won't be. I don't know if that'll be... previous to seeing these glaives and things, I would have said the next box was certainly Beastman and the Kazakin. And the Kazakin will be for 40k and the Beastman will be an artisanal team. Now there's room for Inquisition to be in there. Maybe Inquisition versus Beastman and the Kazakin coming in the next box after that. That does mean we've seen the Kazakin for a long, long time before they finally come out. Is that possible? I think at the moment, Games Workshop release schedule is in a very weird place that it is possible that that happens. Who knows? You let me know what you think. Do you think all this is plausible, or do you think I'm just reading far too much into something that isn't there? Another thing that I want to touch on is, do we actually want an Inquisitorial team? And I know for a lot of you the answer is an uncomplicated and resounding yes, but let me just... There is a community out there that likes to play the classic Inquisitor game, the one that was originally released in 54mm scale, in standard 40k scale, in 28mm scale. My worry is, if they make an Inquisitor team, it'll be so awesome and so interesting and so cool that you'll then get a whole segment of the community that wants to play Inquisitorial Warbands versus other Inquisitorial Warbands, right? And they put a lot of time and craft into converting their Inquisitorial Warband, and they're like, well, my guy, you know, is a Puritan, and my guy's a Radical, and my guy's a Horusian, and all these things from the Inquisitor game, and they make their Warbands, and they use the Kill Team Warbands to play with their Inquisitors, and they forge this really deep narrative, and that ends up siphoning off a fraction of the community. Because that sounds like amazing fun. And then you're there with your other kill teams that are current to date going, well, that's a worry that I have. I guess it's not a totally legitimate worry, but it is just a thing. Because remember, the rules for Inquisition could be bigger than the models. A friend of mine was pointing out to me the other week, you know, just like we've had precedent now with the Phobos, where they put the rules in for the Reavers, and you had to go and buy the Reavers to add them in. They could easily put rules in for the Inquisition, where it's like, well, you can have an Arcoflagellant. Yeah, you're going to have to go and buy a box of Arcoflagellants, but you can have one. You know, and yeah, you can have an Imperial Guard veteran. Yeah, you're going to have to go and buy a box of Imperial Guard, but you can have one. Or yeah, you can have a Sister of Battle in Power Armor, but you're going to have to go and buy a box of Sisters of Battle. They could, if they wanted to, put loads and loads and loads and loads of different things in. to go along with whatever plastic models they decide to put in and make it a real mix and match, a real grab bag. Especially if they do a thing where they let you customise your Inquisitors a little bit, like just say, oh well, what ordo is he from? You know, things like that. And you get equipment. And obviously with equipment choices, it's kill team, so there's going to end up being, even if they give you 10 equipment choices, there's going to end up being a best choice. Unless they go down the route that we've started to see with the Bloodied, where I guess they give you like, you know, Power Fist and Bolt Pistol, or Plasma Pistol and Combat Knife. And so you have to kind of pick you can't just pick the best stuff, you have to pick a suite of options. They could go that way with it. So, no, I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, I'll be all over it if it comes out. I'm definitely buying up. A little bit trepidatious that it's, as an IP, it's like a big... Does anybody get what I'm worried about? It's like a big thing. It's a big old chunk of thing, which I think, as IP, might be bigger than Kill Team's IP. And I think that might kind of skew the player base a little bit. I don't know. Let me know if you think I'm talking complete trash. That's really useful as well. Alright, hope you enjoyed the video. It's great to be back and making videos. I already have another video that I want to do tomorrow, and I'll be streaming again on Tuesday. So I'm looking forward to all of that, and I will see you then. I'll see you tomorrow with another video. Bye bye bye. Bye bye bye. Bye.